Hello folks and welcome. Today's video I have is on Bluestar, the Plasma desktop, and that's probably too small for you to read, so let me resize that up a little bit. Anyways, Bluestar Linux, it's a KDE Plasma desktop I'm going to be talking about today, and I'm going to be talking about these little guys, mouse pointers, cursors. And a lot of people will say, well, I know how to install them, but I have problems installing some themes. Some of them will fail. I'm going to show you some of the reasons why. And more importantly, I'm going to show you what I use to install mouse cursors and pointers, because I do them through the file manager and not through the system. So with that said, let's talk about what I'm speaking of. So I'm going to open up my appearance section and talk about cursors. So I installed this one and this one here through a file manager. These are installed in a different location on your system. It's actually user share, the user share icons folder, which is protected by root permissions. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So anytime you change mouse pointers, I also recommend that you, at a bare minimum, log out of your system, if not reboot, if you're changing mouse pointers. You know, you can change a mouse pointer anytime. You know, I'll pick this yellow one, for instance. But it sometimes has a remnants of the old one. You see what I'm talking about right here? All right, with that said, that's why I recommend doing that. Now, when you installed one cursor out of here, it doesn't matter. If you successfully install a mouse pointer, and I'm going to do this one here in a second, where that gets installed is I'm going to open up a file manager called Dolphin. And in your home folder, you have hidden files and folders. Control H. Control H. This folder here, if it's not there, if you successfully install one of these, it will auto-create that folder for you. You can also manually create these folders. Create new. And call it dot icons. It's got to be spelled the same way. Is that too small? Let me resize that. It's this folder I'm speaking of. That one currently has 2 mouse themes, and I installed those manually because I tried to install Radioactive through this application here and it failed. So I'm going to install this one, and it's going to install it here. So I'll leave that box open. Let's perform the install. And we're going to pick the Linux one instead of Windows. And I'm waiting. All right, you just see that window just populated over here. All right, so I'm going to close this box down, and then I need to do a screen refresh to see anything. So I'm going to click the icons and then go back into cursors. And what I want you to notice that I don't see this theme in here called Empty Butterfly Yellow anywhere in here. So that is called a failed installation. It didn't completely fail. It's just because the way it installed it incorrectly. It's still here though, and I'm going to show you how to fix this one. So you basically don't see it in here, do you? Empty Butterfly Yellow is what that's called. Empty Butterfly Yellow says it's installed. It says uninstall right here. So a lot of people give up when they're doing this. Don't. Try doing it my way. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to minimize this thing and bring this in the foreground. So I have this theme here, and I'm going to open that up, and it's got some fluff in here is what I call that. And then I have another subfolder, so I'm 3 layers into this, and there's the folder that I want. Now how do I know that? Because it has an index theme and cursors. That's how I know that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and copy this folder. Then I'm going to go back up to the main dot icons folder and paste it in there. And then what I'm going to do is get rid of that. So all it says is Empty Butterfly Yellow VR1 whatever. Okay, so far so good. So we have 3 themes. Let me open this back up, and then I'm going to do a screen refresh by backing this folder out and back in there. There it is right there. Let me apply it so you can see it. This one is, and it'll still hold my old mouse pointer. This is a remnants of my other Azenis mouse pointer that I haven't done a reboot or log out and log in. Anytime you change mouse pointers, you should do that. log out of your system, or reboot. Otherwise, you get this mixture of the old mouse pointer and the new one. So far, so good, but that's this one right here. This is empty butterfly yellow. All right, so this is how I installed these things. This one here and that one here. I'm going to change back to what I started with on this video, and I'm going to add some more. I'll just close the box. All right, so I don't have any more changing of mouse. So let me go back over to here for a second and create a second window so you can see what I'm doing. So I use my file manager to install these mouse themes purely. I don't use that application through here, through this appearance section. You already seen the failure. I just tried to install this one the same way as I did here, and it failed. So did that one. I gave you the prime example of it. That's why I suggest doing it this way. So where do you get these mouse pointers? Well, let me actually open up a web browser. You don't have to go through my YouTube site, but you can certainly look at the link, and I'm going to go to my own YouTube site. I'm going to wait for the connection here in a second. So right here, I'll make this bigger for you. Right here is a foot, and that goes to gnome-look.org. If you want to go to the About section, hopefully this is large enough for you, but it's gnome-look.org. I have lots of links down here. I'm sorry to freak you out. I'm just resizing stuff. Anyways, that's where you want. You want to click on that if you're going to go through my YouTube site. You want to go to cursors. That's the one that just failed earlier. So you can download it from here also. Okay, and let's see how many files they have. It's like 2. Yep, the same ones, Linux and Windows. So more than likely they're getting it from the same source. Okay, so this is gnome-look.org. 793 of these things. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up this one right here for you, this radioactive one, because it has a very good explanation. Let me find the web browser, sorry. It has a good explanation of where these need to be installed. And it goes on the same lines that it's this one right here. It goes on the same line as what I've been discussing. This one actually has 2 different themes. It's got a lighter version, and anyways, so it's only one file though. But it behaves, it's still yellow no matter what, is what I'm getting at. So it's this file here. This one will explain the different sizes. But if you go to the product and take a look at the information here, if you don't know how to read this stuff, I'll explain it to you. That's your home folder .icons. It's the same folder I've been discussing. So this is the .icons folder that it's making reference to. The other mouse pointers, I think I made mention of it earlier. It's in the USR share icons folder. That is protected by root permissions. That's where these other ones are installed. Which other ones am I referring to? I'm going to go to the settings box for a second. Under appearance, under cursors. The other ones that are in here that I did not install manually. That would be these right here. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually eliminate this folder and then return it. So my trash can has junk in it, so let me empty it first. Because what I'm going to do is, I don't want to have to pick through all this, is I'm going to take this .icons folder and trash it. Alright, so now I'm going to go in here and do a screen refresh, and these would be the mouse pointers that normally gets installed through the user share icons folder. That's where these are stored. You notice this Azenis is not even in here. Neither is the radioactive, neither is any of those things. These are your standard mouse pointers that you started with the installation. Now I'm going to return that folder from my trash can. Do a restore. And then I'm going to do a refresh. Alright, so I'm using that one, right? We're good to go on that. So what's in my icons folder? .icons folder is azenith, empty butterfly I had to fix so you can see it, and then radioactive is this one. So I'm currently using the azenith one. Let's go back to the website. And that's what I was referring to, the user share icons folder. That's where your system mouse pointers are installed. You could technically add this one also in there if you are wanting to open up your file manager Dolphin in root mode and place files in that folder, which you can, and I've shown that in the past couple of years how to do for other systems. But I'm talking about your local folder for your logged in user. Most of the time this does not require permissions issues. This one does. Okay, so far so good. All you do is download the file. Download. Now I'm going to pick something arbitrary from cursors, and not this one. We've already got that one. Let's find something like that maybe. Now anytime you're shopping for cursors or mouse pointers, take a look at some of the descriptions. Like this one has 24 through 64. That's the size of the pointer. So the 48 and 64 would work pretty good in 4K. The 24 and 32 would be lower screen resolution screens. But this is a variable, in other words. A lot of these mouse pointers are fixed. Let's download that one. And it looks like a dark and a light theme because I can see a black pointer and a white one. So 2 files. And it looks like the darker version is the more popular one than the light. So let's download that. And a lot of these formats are all different. That's one of the reasons those installers have problems. All right, with that said, a lot of these files are compressed differently. Okay, we're good to go on this so far, so I'm going to minimize that. And let's go and open the screen this way. I'll leave this one over here and then click over here on downloads so you can. So I downloaded both of these. I also have downloaded some extra ones in here. These came from the same source I just showed you, from the gnome-look.org website. So let's uncompress some of these things. And what you're looking for is they need to be uncompressed into a folder that looks just like these. Very similar. Sometimes this will have an index theme and another file here, but in general you have an index theme and cursors, in general. So again, this is my .icons folder, this is my downloads. So let's try to uncompress some of these things. There's several different ways of doing things. So we can try to double click on this and do an extract. And if it extracts it properly, it should go into a folder and not just cursor index theme. So let's see what that looks like. And close that. All right, it looks like it did it. So that would be the radioactive. And it looks exactly like this one. Okay, so far so good. All right, so I'm going to get rid of that since I already have that in here. However, I don't have this Voltanis cursor theme yet. So let's do the same and see how it extracts. It looks like it has a cursor and index theme. Nonetheless, we're going to do the extraction and see what it looks like. And extract and close. So Voltanis cursors looks like it's in a standard folder with the index and cursor theme. That looks correct. Okay, so right now I'm going to grab the folder, not the compressed file, and drag that over. And we're going to do copy here. We'll leave the original. Now I'm going to open up mouse pointers and find some more of these things. How about this Pokemon? Let's try that one out for size. Extract and extract. Let's see what it looks like. It looks like it extracted into a folder. That's what we want. And we'll drag that over and leave it there. Or I could do it the other way around. I could take and click on it once, hold my control key down while dragging. It won't ask me that question anymore. So Nighttime Diamond Red, I used this one before because it's non-resizable. So what I'm going to do here is first try to extract it normally and see how it extracts. And let's see. And that didn't extract into a folder, did it? No, it did not. So that was the original, extracted that into that. That's still compressed. That's sometimes what you get out of this. So let's try it this way. All right. What I did was I dragged the main folder out of that extraction. So let's look at that now. Now that looks normal. And sometimes you'll need to do that. You want it in a folder. That's the whole key, folks. The whole key is folder. Drag and drop. All right. Copy here, move here. Your choice. If I didn't want to do that, I would go click, hold my control key, drag and drop. That way it didn't ask me anything. All right, I'm going to leave this up. So I have 6 themes I just threw in there real quick. It took me longer to explain it. So they're not reflective in here because I minimized this folder earlier. So I'm just going to go back to my appearance and back to my cursors. And all of them are now in here. So let's talk about these for a second. So here's Pokemon. And I will need to, how about, we'll resize this box. And maybe not. Just trying to resize that a little bit smaller, and I'm having a difficult time doing that, so I'm going to minimize this for a second. All right, so we have the Azenis is the currently one I have installed. Here's Pokemon, so that's what that looks like, and this goes up to a 96, so that's a rather large one. Keep in mind, I still haven't done a reboot or a login, so it's holding in my old mouse pointer also. Voltanis cursor is that one. That one is also resizable all the way up to 64. And what were the other ones? Oh yeah, Night Diamond Red. So the Night Diamond Red is blanked out. That means it's only a fixed size mouse pointer. So I'm not taking anything away from the developer. It looks like a really nice mouse pointer. It just doesn't work in my screen resolution. However, if I'm in a lower screen resolution like a 1080 or below, this will probably look very nice. Because I can tell right now that it's a very sharp made pointer, and it has an interesting attribute of glowing. You may not be able to see it, but it just pulsated right there. And more importantly, I'll just walk over to here and open up one of these folders and my .icons folder, just to let you see what's in there. So we have the empty butterfly red that was installed by getting new cursors. And I'm going to switch back to this so it doesn't freak you out anymore. So that one was installed by me fixing that folder because I installed it through Get New Cursors, and you remember it failed. So I fixed it by digging out the actual folder. It needs to be here. So the Pokemon, Radioactive, and Azenis and Radioactive were already installed. And what do we have left over? The Night Diamond Red and Voltanis. I can continue doing this. So if I were to close this down, open up another split, or sorry, not a split, but a new window, I'll add a couple more. And then I'm going to show you how quickly you can get rid of these things one at a time, or all of them at the same time. That is all up to you. So I'm in my .icons folder here. So I'm going to go to Downloads, Mouse Pointers. I'm going to do some more extractions. So we have... we got this arch cursor thing. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that one didn't extract properly, so let me find the other. Oh, it's this one. So we have a folder, so that's great. I will drag it over here and take a look at it before I place it in my .icons folder. And close. Arch cursor theme looks like that. And let's take a look at that. All right, let's see how that works. Let's see if that's even viewable here. So I'm going to copy it here. And for some reason, it just looks weird. Let me see if it's available. Well, it is available. I can see it right there. And that's what it looks like. And it's a non-resizable one. All right, so I'm going to switch back to my other one. And let's pick one more. Pulse glass. Extract. extract. And did that extract into a folder? It did not. So Pulse Glass is somewhere in here. It's that one. And we need to yank out the folder. So the folder is here. Let's double click on it. That looks normal. So I will go back and did I close that box? Oh, no, I didn't. Good. And we'll take Pulse Glass folder, not the file, compressed file. And I will move it here instead of leaving it there. So I have now X amount of themes. Now I'm going to close this box and move this over. Walk over to here and do some maintenance. Pulse Glass, where are you? This is Pulse Glass. It's non-resizable. This is probably the hardest one for you to see. That's almost impossible for me to get you a demo on that because it's going to be switching back and forth. Can you see it on the top line? I'm kind of twirling it around. It's too small for this theme. So Pulse Glass would not work for me. So I'm going to hit apply with my other one. Now I'm going to get rid of a couple of these. And it's as easy as doing it this way. I'm going to go to my .icons folder. And first of all, I am going to empty my trash in case I change my mind. In case I change my mind, I'm going to get rid of the Pulse Glass. That didn't work. Delete. Night Diamond Red. Delete. And I'll just get rid of Voltanis also. That's not reflected in here just yet. I need to go out of the screen and back in here. Now they're all gone. Okay, the Night Diamond Red is no longer here. Voltanis is no longer here. Whatever I have in my trash can. Pure Glass was the other one. However, I can change my mind though and do a restore, not a system restore, but a restore for my trash. And as soon as I do a refresh over here, the cursors are back. There's Pulse Glass right there. There's Night Diamond Red. You get where I'm going with this, I hope. You can do easy maintenance in here. You can get rid of the whole folder. You can get rid of everything in here. You can just do it individually. So if I wanted to get Pulse Glass and I want to get rid of the Arch Cursor theme, I'm holding down the Control key, folks, and Night Diamond Red. And delete. Those would be 3. Do a screen refresh, and those are gone. Change my mind. I just want the 2 back. Actually, I'll want not Pulse Glass, but Red Diamond and Arch. Then I do a restore on just 2 items. Icon refresh. Those are back. Night Diamond Red. No Pulse Glass. Pulse Glass is still in the trash. Well, I changed my mind on that one. Do a restore. All I need to do is refresh the screen. And all of them are back. There's Pulse Glass right there. So one more time, I know I'm dragging this on, but I think it's easier to understand if I go through the whole procedure instead of just telling you a couple of things. That way you have some reasons why I do things like that. You can still do it the old-fashioned way, get new cursors, but just keep in mind, I had a failure already starting with that one. That's the one that was installed through here. I also had a failure when I tried to install this one. And that one looks like that. And that one does go all the way up to 96. Okay, I use this one quite often, as a matter of fact, on some other systems. But if you want some extra themes with color in them, just when you are on that gnome-look.org, take a look at the pointer sizes. Some of these are not resizable. Like this one, for instance. This one does not resize. However, this does work very well on some lower screen resolutions. All right, folks, I think I'm done today. Thank you for watching and take care.